Dogs! Everybody loves them. Whether you own a dog yourself, know someone else who does, or just enjoy the occasional dog meme online, they're pretty much inescapable. That's more or less been the order of things for as long as I can remember. Well, that is until the fateful day in May 2019, Hungry Bear Games decided to finally ask the one question we had all been too afraid to ask ourselves.
What if dogs could commit homicide?
The end result was none other than Dogurai, the game we're going to be covering today. I knew very little about this game going in, other than the fact that it utilized a beautiful retro art style and it came highly recommended by a friend. What more encouragement do you need? Let's take a look at Dogurai. Dogurai is an action platformer in which you play as Bones, a retired samurai dog in a dystopian future ruled by robot overlords.
You had me at samurai dogs.
As Bones, you can slide, jump, and slash your way through enemies. Mobility in this game feels pretty good. One of the key features of your moveset is the double jump, which I enjoy a lot. Mid-air jumps and dashes are always welcome in platformers, if you ask me. Taking on enemies with your sword is also a good time, and you can even slash through most projectiles, which I think is pretty cool. Ever so occasionally, you'll come across these massive dudes called heavy enemies, and you'll be asked to perform these rhythm game style quick inputs to simulate rapidly slicing up your opponent. I absolutely suck at them, but they're a really cool concept, and they're implemented pretty well. Dogurai uses an 8-bit art style, which hardly sets it apart from the crowd, but instead of going for your standard NES or Master System look, Hungry Bear actually opted to mimic the original Game Boy. Now, you all know I have a soft spot for the look of the original Game Boy. In the same way I feel like 8-bit artwork, or pixel art in general, brings out more creativity in a game's art, I also feel like the strict color limitations of the Game Boy, and particularly the Game Boy Color, produce some of the best looking games of the generation. And the best part is, despite what the promotional images might lead you to believe, the entire game isn't limited to the puke green you see in so many games, because it's just like when I was a kid! Take it! Dogurai actually utilizes several different color palettes. These can be changed systematically by the game, which does an awesome job of giving each level a unique personality, or if you prefer, you can choose your own palette, so if you're one of the guys who refuses to play any game that isn't entirely mud brown, you may have found your new hobby. Overall, this is a really pretty game, and I would love to see more games take a similar art style approach. So what about the levels themselves? I like them a lot. This game takes a lot of inspiration from Mega Man. You have 4 initial levels, which can be played in any order, and all end with a boss fight, followed by 3 stronger stages reminiscent of the Wily Fortress levels, even going so far as to include a boss gauntlet in the final level, and then the actual final boss. The platforming is overall very solid, although I will say there are some sections that cross over from being difficult into just being downright annoying. I definitely wasn't a huge fan of this section in the ice level, full of tiny slippery platforms and frost that deals knockback damage, and then there's the stupid, horrible, awful section in the jungle level with these eyeball things that shoot projectiles at you and can only be killed from an incredibly close range when they're open, and you're on these absolutely minuscule floating platforms and they're moving around and you're falling into thorns, and it makes me sad. The boss fights are definitely one of the high points of this game for me. Like good boss fights generally should be, they're all about pattern recognition and memorization, and really put your skills to the test. Something I found really cool is that you can deal damage to them at pretty much any time, not just small windows after waiting out an attack pattern. So while yes, the optimal strategy will have you waiting for the most opportune time to attack, if you're good, you can speed the fight up by constantly getting in small hits throughout the attack patterns as well. The final boss is for sure one of the best bosses in my recent memory. It holds absolutely no punches and demands your all if you want to survive, but it's fair and learnable so that by my 3rd or 4th playthrough, I could easily take him down on my first try, which provides a super satisfying progression of skills. Dogurai offers 2 difficulty modes, normal and hard. I think the difficulty modes are handled fantastically. Normal mode lets you take on the game with infinite lives, giving you plenty of opportunities to learn the levels, explore and find secrets, and complete achievements. Once you feel more comfortable with the game, you can move on to hard mode, which gives you limited lives and infinite continues. I quite enjoyed completing the achievements. They offered an amazing combination of exploration challenges that take you to new parts of levels, challenges that test your skills by asking you to complete sections in specific ways, achievements you get by just playing the game, and tons of combinations of the 3. If you collect all 4 floppy disks scattered around the first 4 levels, you'll unlock Ryder as a playable character. He controls identically to Bones, but he uses a projectile weapon, allowing him to take out enemies from a distance. Playing as Ryder is a ton of fun. His ranged attack does a lot to help smooth over some of the more agitating sections of the game, and if you haven't already, he's great for cleaning up some of your missing achievements. Unfortunately though, his ranged attack is pretty overpowered during the boss fights. You can absolutely plow through most bosses thanks to being able to hit them almost constantly. However, the speed with which you can take down these bosses makes Ryder, and by extension Dogurai, pretty interesting to speedrun. I definitely dabble in speedrunning on an amateur level. The built-in time challenges and leaderboards in most Skipmore games introduced me to the concept, and it's definitely something I enjoy. So, I decided to sit down and bang out a quick run. And, interestingly enough, due to the tiny amount of people running this game online and all of the different modes and options splitting the game into 8 different nearly identical categories, I, kind of ended up with the world record run for the category I chose. I'll link my run down in the description, but it really isn't much to see. I'm definitely going to keep trying to get my time down and possibly even produce a run that doesn't look out of place at the top of a leaderboard. And don't let my time fool you, my first playthrough took me close to 4 hours. Plus, once you factor in achievements, difficulty modes, different characters, and multiple endings, you have yourself a game that you can play over and over again, as well as one that I have over 12 hours in. Honestly, that's one of the highest accolades I can award a game. Even after the main campaign and achievements are done, all the footage is recorded, and I'm ready to move on, I keep coming back. Dogurai is a measly $5 on Nintendo Switch, PS4, and PC, and for that price, you'd be hard-pressed to do much better. Although, at this point, we do seem to be assembling a bit of a $5 indie game value menu, so we'll see. Go pick up Dogurai, support the creators, maybe draw some fan art, and hey, maybe even try to claim my world record. I'd love some competition. Woo, that was a much needed repose from last week's video I spent almost 3 straight days on. Hopefully you still enjoyed it. I had an absolute ton of fun with this one. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate it if you could like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the video around with anyone you think might enjoy it. It really is a huge help. Well, I guess that's about all I've got for you today. See you next week, and as always, thanks for watching.